Alrighty, you guys, what's going on? So today in this video we're going to do a little bit of multi-species fishing here with the tadpole, and then I also got a bait caster with the giant Strike King Mega Dog. I've been getting a few topwater blow-ups from some decent little bass, so I figured, you know what, if the small ones are hitting topwater, I might as well try for the big ones. So if nothing happens here with my little tadpole, there's a bite. Yep, there's one. Look at there, little micro bluegill. He real small, he real tiny. He tiny little guy. He got some black spots on him, so we won't keep him. He's pretty small anyway. So first bite on the tadpole from over here in a little while. Actually, we were down here and we were slaying the bluegill and the crappie, me and my little brother, and we're sitting here and I was throwing this little green pumpkin tadpole. And my cork kind of just little wobble a little bit. Didn't do much different than any other bluegill or crappie that we have been catching. And I set the hook on this thing and it ripped drag like crazy. I thought it was a giant bluegill until I seen it. And you guys will see that video. I'll post it up either before this video goes up or after. But it was a giant, really fat, healthy bass. It was the biggest bass I've caught this year, and it was on this little guy right here, this little green pumpkin with a little chartreuse head tadpole made by Doc's Lure Company. It was a 3 1/4, just a shade over 3 1/4 pounds. Really awesome catch. It was awesome because I had my mom sitting here next to me and I had my brother sitting here next to me. There was a hit. Yeah, I got him. Another little micro bluegill. These little micro gills, they love to eat this tadpole. But I tell you what, the big ones, big crappie, bass, and bluegill love eating this thing. Come here, buddy. Up, 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 up. Quit flopping. Nice one. Throw a few of them back. We're not going to keep everything. If we catch another one about that size, we might keep him for bass bait for the pond. You know, throw them in there for the big ones to eat. We've already got a few. Oh, there's another bite. Hey, looky there. Ooh, there's a bigger bluegill. There's a little bigger bluegill. Nice one on the old tadpole, almost instantly too. Barely hooked him though. Up, up, up. Is he gonna fall in the water? Slow down here. Let me see you here. Yeah, he's got a lot of parasites on him. Show you guys real quick. You see these little bitty tiny black spots on their fins? Those are parasites. Don't want to transfer them over into the pond, and definitely don't want to eat them. I'm fishing about 1.5 foot deep. We were, the past few times that we've been out here, we were fishing just under, you know, right between 1/2 foot and 1 foot deep. And we were slaying the bluegill, crappie, bass. Just about everything was hitting just a little ways under the surface. And this time we went out here and we were fishing that deep, and they just weren't really biting it. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go a little bit deeper with this green pumpkin colored tadpole. And I think it was my first cast. I actually caught that 3.26, I think it was 3.26 pound bass. And it fought like crazy. I honestly was thinking that I had like a 4 or 5, maybe 6 pound bass on. When I first seen it and realized it was a bass, I was like, oh crap, this is like a giant bass. And it's definitely one of the biggest ones I've ever seen come out of this pond. Definitely one of the fattest ones that I've ever seen come out of this pond. And for a fish as fat as that one was, oh, there was a bite, had one. For a fish as fat as that fish was, to hit that little tiny tadpole, I thought was kind of comical. Because it definitely did not get that fat eating little micro bite size little things like this. Oh, there he goes. Another little micro bluegill. Evidently the small ones moved in over here, but we're catching some pretty good sized ones. It's got another bunch of black spots on it. Some of the smaller ones, it seems like, have a lot more black spots on it. The old green pumpkin tadpole gets another one. Throw them all back. Surprisingly, this jig head has held out very well after fighting that bass like it did. I boat flipped the bass up. I'm throwing 10-pound line, and I ended up boat flipping that bass. And then I've caught probably a good 20, 25 other fish, you know, small bass, small bluegill. There's one. Ooh, is this a bass? Nope, it's just a nice big bluegill. Another nice, he's awfully small compared to some of the other ones we've been catching. Really weird looking though. The pectoral fins look like they have like an extra fin over them. That's really weird. Look at how he ate that tadpole though. Come here, bud. The pectoral fins look really weird. It's almost like they got another fin over top of them. I've never seen that before in a bluegill. This is why, when they eat it like this is why I had my dad make me a little fish unhooking tool. It's got a little snap on it that I snap to my belt loop. It's actually made out of a flathead screwdriver. Cut a small V in it. Let me grab him by the sides here. Made a little V in the flathead screwdriver bit. And you can put it right in that bend of the hook sometimes, depending on how well you hook the fish. This one here got hooked almost perfectly. Can't even get the hook out. There it goes. Nice one. He's got a lot of black spots on him too. We'll let all them ones that have a lot of black spots on them go. I don't really want to keep a whole bunch of them because they'll either to eat or to put it in the pond. You know, I don't really want to put any new crazy parasites in the pond. That would not be good for the pond's ecosystem. Now the wind's going to start coming in. Sorry about that. The wind is blowing directly at me right now, coming out of the northeast. I'll kind of keep you guys away from it a little bit, but kind of keep you guys pointed at the cork so you guys can see if the cork goes down. I don't know if you guys can really see the cork or not. It's right there, right above my finger. That little white dot is the cork. I use a very small cork because it presents a very small presence above them and they don't really see it all that well. This one here is actually a cork that I cut in half. My brother has the other half on his pole and I have this half on mine. His is basically an all orange cork and mine's pretty much an all white cork, so it actually looks really cool. There's a bite. Ooh, hello. Harder fighting bluegill here. For the size, he's awfully hard fighting. Yeah, he's got another bunch of black spots on him. No, he actually looks pretty clean. Yeah, he's still got a few, but he looks pretty clean compared to some of the other ones that we've caught. Another nice one. But that hook is actually done quite well compared to some of the other hooks that I've used in the past. The hooks I've used in the past will bend out before you can even catch one fish. There's one hook that I used a couple days ago actually. You guys, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you would have seen that I had posted a picture up a few days ago of a jig head that had the hook completely cut off of it almost. Let me face you guys over here for a second, keep you out of that wind. But like I was saying, that jig hook basically just broke straight off, and I didn't even hook the fish. I hooked it for like a microsecond, and it literally took that long for that hook just to snap right off like that. Some hooks are good. These hooks here have withstand the test of time. These things are super old. These things are like 10, 15 years old. My dad had them in his tackle box from many years ago, and they're still catching fish. And this one here is the only one that I've ever been out. And what is it? Cool, it's a nice one. Who caught it? Cool. My mom caught a nice big bluegill. And oh, there's a fish. Oh, another one. Another nice big bluegill. Max, come up here and grab this one. Take them pliers. Up, up, up. Come here, bud. 1 second. Alrighty, you guys. Well, that bluegill actually fell in the water before I could give it to my brother, so it's gone, but that's alright. We'll probably catch another one before I switch over to the topwater. Oh, he came off. See if we can flip it right back in there and catch him. The crappie have not been biting as well as the bluegill have today. The bluegill and the bass seem to be biting a lot more. Oh, there he was again. These tadpoles, I tell you, even if you stick a hook in one of them, they'll still come back and grab it. It's crazy. I stuck a fish last time we was up here, and I hooked him for a few seconds and he got off. My brother cast it right back in there and ends up catching it. using completely different colors too. That's what is amazing about these tadpoles, is sometimes the color doesn't even matter. They'll just bite it. I've been using the green pumpkin, and they've been loving the green pumpkin. The white and red, or the white, blue, red, white, and blue, if I can speak. Oh, look at that. There's turkeys. I can hear them. Over on that other side of the pond, I can hear turkeys. That is cool. I can hear them clucking and everything. That's neat. But anyway, let's go ahead and try the big bait here. I caught the biggest bass of the year so far on a little tiny bait, but let's try. So a quick little fact here before I start casting this is every fish I've caught so far this year have come on a Docks Lure Company bait. I have not caught a fish so far this year on anything other than a Docks Lure Company bait.